Welcome back to the channel. This video will be about the breakdown of the Focus, of the costs, and also the new car that I purchased. So the car, as you can see on screen now, total amount was £1,804.80. The purchase price, well, the bid price was £1,500, but that is £1,804.80 with all the fees. So it wasn't too bad. The cost of the car and the breakdown, so £1,804.80 for the car. The delivery to me was £80, well, £80. I had it delivered, even though it's only about 40 miles from me, but I just didn't have time to collect it. Did have tax and MOT, so I was going to collect it. I was just going to drive there with my dad and then just drive it back, but it was, I mean, £80 wasn't really a lot of money, so I thought I'd just have it delivered. So the insurance approved wing was £29.99, which I thought was an absolute bargain. It did come with the free dent though, but we were that wasn't too bad. £29.99 for an insurance approved. So the next thing, this is just sort of going in order that I purchased that. The next thing I brought was some body filler randomly, but that was £5.99. I think I did buy another body filler after that for about a tenner. It just seemed to sand better, but I've still got loads of that left, so it's kind of in the fee of this one, but not, if you know what I mean. All the paint that I purchased, so I brought like a litre of paint, which I said the colour match wasn't best. There was 2 lots of paints and some spray and some lacquers, etc, etc. So I did spend a little bit too much on paint. So the paint was £89.38. As I said, I didn't use some of the paint. I have returned one, but the seller's been a bit, he thinks there's nothing wrong with the paint, so he's refusing to give me my refund, so I'm probably just going to let that one go. But it was only £15.99, that one. So the door, which is the front door, that was £140 delivered, complete door, so I thought that was pretty good. The second door, which we just had on the last video, there was a good big gap between those 2 doors. I wasn't going to replace the back door, sorry, but I did, because I wasn't happy with the way it looked after I'd painted. I just couldn't be bothered. It was just driving up the wall. So that door was £75 plus 30 delivered. There was a battery for 52.24, which I had replaced twice because the last one was crap. And then we had some tyres, and they were £159.92. I only put 4 budget tyres on. They were nothing special, but I wasn't going to put anything decent on that car, so it doesn't need decent tyres. And it was no benefit to me whatsoever. And then, so at that point, it was only £2,363.33, and I thought, okay, so if we sell it for 1,600, something like that, 2,600, something like that, and make a few quid. So I was okay with that. And then I decided to, sorry, my GoPro's starting to go again. I was using the GoPro and it just keeps giving up. No, it's randomly recording because it thinks I've asked it to record. Oh, it's just so stupid. I'm using my phone. So yeah, so 2,362.33, and I thought I'd quit there and sell it, but I never. I tried to sort the fob out. So the fob, so I thought, so the car came with one fob and it just didn't work. So I thought the fob was knackered. I changed the battery, did all the obvious things. So I had an auto electrician come out, and he charged me £150 for a new fob, which was programmed to the car. And he left me with the fob and said, sorry, though the fob does work, it just still doesn't want to work. He said there's something wrong with the car. The fob works fine. In fact, he told me that my original fob worked fine as well. So I had 2 fobs in the end. And as I said before, I mentioned it before that he gave me a number for a person that works for Ford but does mobile, and he came out and plugged it into a computer and told me that it needed a new wireless aerial. So he charged me £75, and then he kind of just said buy this one, which came up. To be fair, I did look at his computer. He did let me sit with his computer for a minute and let me view what the issues was. And we pinpointed it to the aerial, which was corroded. And the car from sat, it's been sat for 2 months, so it was corroded. So I bought a new aerial, and that was £14.99, and it never solved the problem. So at that point, I did have it booked into Ford, and they wanted £100. Well, it was about £90 plus VAT to have a look at it. And I thought I'll try my luck and sell it as it was, without even going to Ford, and just go as it was. So the total after all that was 2,717. That's what it owed me, and I thought there's no way I don't think I was going to sell it for any more than 2.5, or maybe 2.6. So I thought, yeah, I'll just go with that. So I've kept the car a few days. I've used it a little bit. I put some insurance on it because I just buy some daily insurance, because it works out about £13 a day. And I put some tax on it, which was 20 quid. I untaxed it for a month. And I've used it for a bit, and then I thought I'd better sell it. So I put it on. I originally put it on my eBay account. It cost me £20 to list it. And I had it on there for 2,800 with best offers. I didn't really look at it, to be fair. And it's right about 10 minutes after I listed it on eBay, I put it on Facebook Marketplace. So I thought to myself, why didn't I even put it there in the first place, as it's free? I put it on Facebook Marketplace, and within 2 hours I'd sold it. So I thought, I can't really grumble about that. I had loads of offers on Facebook Marketplace. Lots of people asking about the category, because it was just a then. And there's quite a few people that weren't bothered at all. They just didn't really care. They just saw it as a cheap car. And it was quite a nice spec car, and for the money I was asking, you can't really get into that year of Focus, plus that sort of mileage, for 2,800, well, 2,700 quid I listed it on Facebook Marketplace. So I had a couple of people lowball me, stupid offers like £1,000, and it just wasn't even entertaining. I also, out of curiosity, went to We Buy Any Car, and they conveniently offered me £200, and I generally put in it was a Cat N. Off goes the GoPro. I put in it was a Cat N with no service history, etc., and they offered me £200. They did offer me before. They did offer me £1,800 before that, but they must have thought that I was desperate, so they'd offer me £200 the second time. So anyway, so Facebook, a guy contacted me. He was quite interested. He wanted to see a picture of the previous damage I sent him. He said, as long as it is as described and the damage is no more than what it was, I'm happy to come and have a view. So he lived in Luton. So within 2 hours of being on Facebook Marketplace, I'd sold it to a guy from Luton. He travelled from Luton with his friend, and he looked at the car, and we had already pre-arranged what we'd sell it for, and he bartered me down to 2,400, which I thought, I just wanted it gone, really. I knew I was going to make a few quid of a loss, so my loss on that was 317. Now, had I not messed around with the antenna, the call-out charge and the new fob, I would have made a small profit. So I just wanted to break even more than anything. So yeah, I did lose a bit of money, but not because of the damage. Most people think, oh, you lost loads of money because of the damage. It wasn't. If I just left the car alone and not bothered with the fob and just sold it as it was, I wouldn't have made a loss. So the actual damage itself and repairing it was in budget. It was never going to make a load of money. Maybe I bought the car for a little bit too much. I mean, in hindsight, when you think, oh, £1,500 a bargain, not when you've added fees, and we all know co-part fees and it's actually the cheapest. Maybe I could have crawled some money back by delivery, but it was 80 quid. It would have cost me £40 in fuel there and back to put fuel in my dad's car and put some fuel back in his car, so I wouldn't have made much on there. Maybe a bit on the paint. I probably only made back about £100 if I really tried my best, because I couldn't get it down anymore. So anyway, so I made a 317 loss and sold it for 2,400, but right at the precise moment that I was selling the car, my delivery driver turned up with the car that I just purchased. So I'd bid on a Toyota Yago, a 17 plate, and I got outbid, and I didn't want to go any more than 2,000 because that was my limit on any car. I was want to just try and be under 2,000, so it's £500 to repair it. I don't want to be any more than 2,500 into it. So with the Focus, it was there, it was fine. It was 2,362. There you go. So I bid on a Toyota Yago and I'd lost it. It just nipped over to 2,000. So I was sat on the car auction sites and I was a bit deflated because I really wanted it. I don't particularly want it for myself, but I just like the look of it. It was a nice blue one, and it was a later shape of the cross. If anyone knows what a Toyota Jaeger is, and you see that bit on there, you know it's the later one. And it was a 17 plate, and it had done about 2,000 miles, and the damage was really minuscule, and it was a Cat N, but it just went for a bit too much money for me, especially when I've been watching them for quite a while, so I kind of got a gist of what prices they were going for. So in between, I saw a car pop up on a different site, and I bid on that. I didn't take much notice of it, and I won that car. I'm not going to say what that car is at the moment, because that's going to be for a later video. So I'd already won that car, but it was a cheap car. I will say it's a cheap car. It's an older car, but if when you see it, you'll think, what was the point in writing that off? It's ridiculous. But when we get to that car, you'll know why I brought it. So I bid on another car, and that car is going to be on the screen now. So let's have a look. So I'm just going to log into this. So yeah, so I've started using ASM Auto Recycling, £50 fee like Copart last year. So much more cheaper on this site, so much more cheaper. So let's log in. So this is one of the reasons why I went to the site. I'm just getting bored of Copart, even though I've only brought one on Copart, but I've been using Copart for ages. But in this particular series and my YouTube channel, that was the first one I brought for the channel. So I am familiar with Copart previously. So let me sign in. Right, so I need to show you without showing you the second one, which is a bit annoying. Right, so if you look at the screen now, you can see what I purchased. So I bought a 2016 66 plate Fiat Panda Lounge, 1.2. I'll give you the prices when we finish the build, but it was very reasonable, I thought. Very reasonable. So, as you can see on the car, so it says 2016. It's done 22,253, and it's a Cat S. I did a check on it before, and it's a Cat S. So, V5 document didn't come with it, which is a bit annoying. But because it's been categorised as an S and the V5 has been destroyed by the insurance company, I am entitled to apply for a new one, and it's free. Whereas they do charge you 25 quid if it's just a Cat N or a D, or you've just misplaced it. So it comes with keys. Service history, it says no. This car's a one owner previously, so they brought it brand new in 16, and judging on the stickers all over the car, etc., and there's a service sticker in the window, they kept it serviced at the same garage they purchased it from. So I'm going to try and ring them up and get a printout. They should have a printout. There's no reason why they shouldn't. So the damage on this car was they've driven over something. So on the passenger side front, they've driven over it and they've broken the alloy wheel. Now there's a massive hole in the wheel of the alloy. So you can't even repair it. There's no way it's repairing it. And obviously the tyres blew out with it. And as they've driven over something, it's just obviously gone bump, bump. And it's caught the corner of the sill. And as you go back sort of midway to the car, a little bit on the sill again, it's just a deep scratch. So it's probably going to need a little bit of pulling out. And the corner of the sill needs pulling out. Whereas categorised as an S for structural, I can see why they categorised it as an S as structure, because obviously the sill is physically a part of the car, and you can't remove it as such. Whereas if it was categorised N, it would just, wing damage is an N, because you can take the part off. You can replace the sill, but not like you can a wing. So I can see why they categorised it as an S, but it beggars belief that they even writ it off just for that little small amount of damage. And the fact that the alloy wheel was broken. There's no physical damage to the structure around the wheel or the cowling or anything like that. Not that I can see. I mean, I've had the wheel off and I've looked into it a little bit more. I should look at it a bit more next time, and you'll have a look with me. I completely got black. But you can definitely tell that there's a bit of seal damage, but we'll look into that. I mean, I'll figure my ways of fixing that, even if I have to cut a piece out and get it from another car. But I don't think it's going to be that dramatic. I've got my new puller, so we're going to pull a little bit. But the car itself is beautiful. It's a Panda Lounge. It's top of the range, It's got heated seats, heated window. They've had a winter pack pot on it. As I say, it's done 22,000 miles. There's no mats in there. It smells like a brand new car inside. It's a 1.2 naturally aspirated engine, as it says on the screen. There's not much about it. It's a bit like a Fiat 500. So I've ordered the new alloy wheel, which is on its way. I'm about to buy that from Mopar, which is Fiat's division, and Chrysler. Is it Chrysler? I'm not sure. Their division where they sell things. So that's going to take a couple of weeks to get to me. But there's no MOT on it because it's not had its first MOT yet. If you're overseas and wondering what the MOT is, just a check on the vehicle to make sure it's roadworthy. But it's not had its first one yet. It was actually due in January, so it was 3 years old in January. Though it's 2016, it's 2016, so it's like quite late. 31st, in fact, 31st of the 12/16, so it's quite late in its registration. Nearly a 17, which would have been better looking when you sign it at 2017 66. But anyway, that's the car. I'll try and show you these pictures on the screen. But what I will do, these are the pictures that I saw. I mean, when you look at the damage, you think, what is that? Is that it? It's like, where is the damage? But what I'll do is I'll insert a few pictures. So it's done 22,253. And no reason to doubt that mileage whatsoever. The fact that it's a one owner. I mean, let's be fair, it's probably an old lady that drove it, or an old guy. It's not a young person's car as such. But, you know, I suppose young people do drive them. But it's unlikely to be damaged because of that. So that's the damage on the wheel. It doesn't even look like it's damaged until you look a bit closer. Ta-da! There's a big hole in the middle. It's quite a big hole. I've had the wheel off as well. It's a big hole. And that's the damage. These are the pictures all I could see, and there's the still. That is it. I mean, it's so small. I mean, the piece you can see at the back, it's like a flap. It's like a really thin piece of metal. And it just looks like you can just push it down, tap it down, a bit of filler and some paint, and you're done. It just doesn't look a lot at all. And that's it. That's all I had. So that's the car. So you'll see this video now, so at least you know what I brought and what I sold the Focus for. I'm glad it's gone, the Focus, because I was getting a bit bored of it, and I'm sure 7 parts in, you lot might have been getting quite bored of it as well. But anyway, thank you if you're viewing. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you anybody else that is going to subscribe. Much appreciated. So yeah, I hope you kind of look forward to this car. It's not everyone's taste of car, but everybody on YouTube that I watch, everyone seems to be doing Audis, and that's about it. There isn't much else out there. So though it's not an exciting car, and I suppose when you're YouTube searching for Copart rebuilds, you don't tend to look for a Panda. But I know the 500, Fiat 500 is quite a popular car, and lots of people have done that, as you know. Most people watch everybody, so everyone knows. So I thought, a Panda, what's wrong with a Panda? And then the other car I purchased, it's Volkswagen, I'll give you that. It's not that exciting though. It really is not an exciting car. But I brought it for a reason. Not for a reason for me, but for the car itself. Because it was such a good car. You'll see what I mean when I talk about it anyway. So yeah, so thank you for viewing. If you haven't subscribed, would you consider subscribing? It does help me up. And a thumb. If you don't have to, it's fine. I appreciate that most people just watch random videos on YouTube like myself. That's all I watch anyways, YouTube. If I'm not doing my own videos, I'm watching other people's videos, and I'm like everybody else. We all watch them. Salvage builds, Goon Squads, everybody. Cars for Paul. You probably see me on there. I do comment. And I'm a patron. So thank you for viewing, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.